And welcome
to Nightmare Nation,
a paranormal podcast where we talk about haunted places around the world.
And scary things.
And ghosts.
And seances.
And demons.
And UFOs.
And love to talk about prisons.
And, yeah.
Yep.
So saying Ouija boards.
Oh, yeah, Ouija boards, too.
You know, prisons are just kind of the best place for hauntings because a lot of shit happens in these places.
Well, because historically, just as a human race, we have not done a very good job of figuring out how to properly deal with criminals.
Nope.
Or properly reform people. We just
shove them in a cell and hopefully that they decide to get better, and then we bring them back out into society after they've been gone from it for like 20 years.
With like no skills or tools to like readjust.
Yeah.
And that's painting with a really broad brush, obviously.
Yep.
But for so many years, it was just like, well, dump them in a crappy little cage, give them nothing to do, and don't treat them for any underlying medical or psychological disorders.
Nope.
And hope they get better.
Yay!
Friends, have you guessed we're talking about a prison tonight?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
that
prison.
was supposed to be a reformatory like all other prisons and asylums have been.
There's so many nice words for it. Penitentiary, reformatory, like, they have all these nice ideas of like taking heinous criminals and turning them into productive members of society and then treating them like shit.
Yep, it just turns to absolute garbage.
Yeah, hot garbage.
Yep.
The hottest.
Hot steamy garbage.
Oh, delicious.
How about
fruity
garbage?
garbage?
I was just gonna say that.
Love me
some hot steamy fruity garbage.
Hot steamy fruity papaya garbage.
Fucking papaya is disgusting.
If you don't know what we're talking about, listen to episode 18.
I don't know.
17.
The one that's labeled fruity garbage.
Oh yeah, it's got it in the name. I'm pretty sure it's 18. Also sidebar.
Yes.
So we've been spending a lot of time talking about really bad horror movies lately because Anders and I have been kind of on a bad horror movie kick.
Perfect.
So we've seen a couple in the time that has passed since we recorded last. Okay. And there's just one in particular that I feel like I just need to tell you about.
Tell me.
So this movie.
Yes, movie.
It was called Most Likely to Die. And it was a really cheesy... You're making a face like you know this movie.
I feel like I do... It sounds very familiar.
So it may be clever in concept, but really bad in execution. And it just...
Standard.
Yep. So the whole idea is like, you have your yearbook when you graduate from high school and you have all these like most likely to or whatever, right? Like most likely to star in a movie and all that nonsensical bullshit. And so this person, like they set up as this like high school reunion. Everyone's coming back for their 10-year reunion, which ours is coming up not too long. Like, holy shit. And they like basically they pulled all these people who are getting together for this reunion pulled this elaborate prank on this kid in this yearbook, and they like crossed out his image and said most likely to die on his picture, like a bunch of little fucking assholes. And the kid like didn't take it well and brought a gun to school, got expelled. His whole life is ruined, and so like he's coming back to like revenge murder these people. So we kind of figured this out as things happen. Yeah, so it's like a slasher movie. And so the killer, a couple of people have been picked off at this point. And like most of the deaths have been off camera. And we're like, okay, people are dying, the killer's around. And then we're at this point where the like jockey douchebag is walking down the hallway.
Of course.
And the killer pops out. And we see the killer wearing a blue graduation gown and a cap with this like fucking demented paper mache mask on his face.
Of course.
And you're like, oh no, this is the first like confrontation we've seen between a character and the killer.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? And the killer literally headbutts the dude in the face with his hat. And we learn that he's got a fucking like razor blade on the edge of his hat. So he literally like pops out in the hallway and like charges up to the dude and goes like, well, bam, with his head. And stabs the dude.
That's gotta look so stupid.
In the face. And we're like, what the fuck? And then, to take it a step further, he puts his head down and swipes it from side to side and slits the dude's throat.
I was waiting for that.
With his fucking graduation cap. We're like, fuck
you guys, I graduated.
Oh my god. And then, okay.
Tell me.
If that wasn't bad enough.
Okay.
It was just like the most ridiculously comical, like, scene that should have been scary because someone was dying, and instead you just see this dude freaking headbutt this guy with the corner of his graduation cap, and then it just was so stupid. But then stupid supermodel girl who has nothing to do with any of these people and is just there just because, and of course she's gotta die. So she comes running into the house and closes the door, and they're like, what's wrong? And she's like, he's outside. And then she goes to run away, and he's right behind her. He opens the door, takes off his cap, whips it at her like it's a frisbee, and it flies across the room and pins her to the wall by her throat.
Okay, but I don't think so.
But
tell me,
it only goes halfway through. So
you can't be fucking pinned to a wall then.
Gruesome graphic warning here. He literally goes over and grabs her by the cut side of her neck and rips her fucking head off.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Because the freaking thing missed and didn't completely decapitate her. It only, nailed her against the wall. So
even though she's dead, you know?
No, she was still alive, because it only, got her in the side. And so then he goes over and finishes the job by, scooping his fingers in there and, prying her head off. We're
what?
Oh, my God.
What goes through your mind thinking that you need to, shove your fingers into someone's...
It was...
slit
the
neck.
Weirdest. I'm like, is this a Saw movie?
Gross.
What are we watching? It was so dumb. It was so dumb.
Isn't that
God.
on Netflix?
It is.
Okay.
Or no, it used to be on Netflix. I think we watched it on Tubi, which is a free movie thing.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find you the scene. It's so funny.
Please.
So anyway, I just had to tell you.
Oh, that sounds awful.
I feel like we can't have an episode of this podcast without talking about at least one horror movie.
We can't.
So...
because they're all just terrible.
They're all so bad.
Well,
a lot of them are good.
Yes.
A lot of them are real bad.
A lot of the older ones are good. Newer ones coming out are just
hit or
kind of
miss.
Shit.
Yeah. There's been a couple of decent ones in the last decade or so that have stuck with me pretty well. But it's hit or miss. Mm-hmm. So anyway, back to the awfulness that is bad prison management.
Just terrible.
Where are we going tonight, Anna?
Ohio!
I thought you were saying, oh, hi, I'm Anna. And then you said, Ohio. And I was like, my brain just did not register.
I was so confused.
I was so expecting you to say, oh, hi, I'm Anna. And then it came out Ohio. And I was like, that's not your name? What? What? And it...
So I'm Anna.
Hey, I'm Annie.
We are going to Ohio.
The state of Ohio.
The state of Ohio. I don't think we've been to Ohio yet, have we?
I don't think so.
It's the first time. We are taking you to the Ohio State Reformatory. It has to be the Ohio State Reformatory.
Oh, so sorry.
Because anytime in football someone is from Ohio State, they always say the Ohio State.
Of course they do, because they have to make it super melodramatic. The one and only.
Ohio State tried to, was it trademark or do something with the pronunciation?
I read about that.
And they couldn't because of something. I don't remember.
Because it's fucking English. You can't trademark how to pronounce the word the. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yep. So, that's fun.
That is fun. Okay, so
but it's not football.
No.
It's the Ohio State Reformatory.
Okay.
The Ohio State Reformatory, also known as Mansfield Reformatory, is a historical prison located in, can you guess?
Ohio?
Mansfield, Ohio!
Okay, that was going to be my next guess.
So the building was built between 1886 and 1910 and remained in operation until 1990 when a U.S. federal court ruling ordered the facility to be closed.
You know things have gotten bad when the frickin' government orders you to close your doors.
Yep.
This is not okay. No. We cannot continue to do this.
That means you are not reforming people properly.
No.
So in 1861, the field where the reformatory was going to be built was used as a training camp for Civil War soldiers. The camp was named Camp Mordecai Bartley in honor of the Mansfield man who served as Ohio governor in the 1840s.
Fancy.
I know. Then in 1867, Mansfield was promoted as a candidate for the placement of the new intermediate penitentiary. So intermediate meaning rookies, I guess you could say, into the prison world. So they're first-time offenders.
Got it. Not maximum security, serious, violent criminal. Yep.
Yeah. So it was intended as essentially a middle ground penitentiary to house young first-time offenders to help to reform them to get back into society.
Which was, I'm guessing, mostly unsuccessful.
Yes. It started off really well, and then it just kind of turned into shit.
Cool.
So the original architect for the design of the building was Levi T. Scottfield from Cleveland, who used 3 architectural styles. I tried looking these up, and I was reading through it. I'm like, I'm not even going to try to explain these. If you want to see what they are, just Google them.
We are not architects.
No. And half of this stuff just doesn't make any sense to me. So
fair enough.
The 3 architectural styles are Victorian Gothic, Richardsonian Romanesque.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. That one I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar.
No. And Queen Anne. Oh, supposedly is a type of architectural.
Oh,
that's your architecture.
Fancy. That's mine.
You should probably change your house to
the Queen Anne style.
Yes.
I'm secretly a queen. I actually invented the Queen Anne.
You did.
Fun fact about me, friends. My legal name is Anne.
It is
if
Anne.
You didn't know that.
It's Anne.
Even though I go by Annie.
I don't think I knew that until like later in high school, maybe after.
Yeah.
I always just assumed it was Annie. Mm-hmm. Then I would see Anne, I'm like,
It's because we didn't have that many classes together in high school, probably, so you never heard, like, roll call. No. Yeah. No. Teachers always, Anne. I'm like, it's not my name.
I don't want it.
I don't like it.
No. I don't think I've ever called you Anne.
If you ever do, I will.
I will only do
call
it if
you
I'm
out on it.
Real pissed at you.
I'll kick your ass.
But that will probably never happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not too
I don't think
it.
we've ever been, like, legitimately in a fight.
No.
Like, an actual, like, friendship fight.
No, because you're not stupid.
Same to you. Thanks for not being stupid.
Like, we agree on, like, most everything.
I feel like most, long-lasting friendships have at least one, like, tumultuous, like, encounter, and we haven't really had one.
No.
Let's keep it that way.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
That's perfect.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Wood real quick. So, on September 15th, 1896, the reformatory opened its doors to its first 150 offenders. The prisoners were brought by train from Columbus and put immediately to work on the prison sewer system and a 25-foot stone wall surrounding the complex.
That sounds fun.
So instead of hiring other people to finish the reformatory, they just decided to use free labor.
Yeah, why not?
And here you go.
Welcome to prison for the first time. You get to build a sewer.
That sounds great.
That sounds fucking terrible.
Be disgusting.
Yeah, that's not going to reform me. That will make me angry.
Exactly. You're learning construction and how to build.
I mean,
it's reforming you to get into.
Yeah, well, then you go to apply for your first job, and they're like, "Oh, so where did you learn your like engineering or like construction skills?" Like, "Oh, in prison, building a sewer."
Yes.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Great.
Yeah. So inmates were also provided an education.
Good.
Yeah. So because of it initially being a place to reform individuals so they used that instead of punishing them. So they did have core classes, which included reading, writing, math, and social sciences, as well as trades such as engineering, plumbing, and electrical mechanics. Many early inmates were provided with rehabilitation tools as well as means of self-support after parole.
Okay, so like you said, it started out pretty good.
Yeah.
And like decent programs in place. It sounds humane.
Yeah.
I like that.
It started off right. Mm-hmm. So then the reformatory established its own inmate staffed printing shop as well as manufacturing and a sales division which included shoes, clothing, and furniture. I don't know if they sold to outside vendors, if they sold to the inmates, or what exactly they did.
Can I buy prison?
Prison?
Can I buy stuff from prison inmates?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like making license plates, I guess, maybe.
I guess so.
They just...
Yeah.
Cheap labor. So the cells were built to hold one person per cell, and they had over 2,000 cells, so they could hold up to 2,000 people. But as the years went...
Let me guess.
It changed.
Oh, duh. They got overcrowded.
Yeah. It wasn't a reformatory anymore. It changed to a maximum security prison, and the cells housed 2 to 3 inmates per cell.
3?
Yeah.
That is bad news.
Yeah. When they were designed to hold one person, and I'm assuming they were pretty small to begin with.
They were probably like the size of this bedroom we're sitting in, if
or
not smaller.
I was going to say probably a lot smaller.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And so obviously when you have 2 to 3 inmates per cell, when you're in tight quarters, violence broke out because of the overcrowding.
Yeah.
So shanks, shivs, dice, and other contraband were found within the crevices of the prisoners' cells. I don't know what dice, like actual dice?
Is that
or is it like a razor cube they made?
Razor cube? Yeah, it made a little razor cube. You know, I wonder if maybe, like, the shanks were meant to be used as, like, violent tools, obviously, but maybe the dice were just, like, contraband for... Because, like, it was probably illegal to, like, gamble in prison. But they might have just, like, used... Yeah.
It says prison dice. How to make dice commonly made in prison is with toilet paper, a pen, and some water.
Oh, nice.
So they would dip the toilet paper into the water and then smush it into cube form. And, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so I would guess it's probably illegal to, like, play gambling games in prison. But
that would make sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Or it's a razor cube, and that's way cooler.
I mean, it totally could be. I don't know. I don't know what people do in prison.
Yep.
Because I've never been.
What?
So, you know,
oh my
sorry.
God.
Sorry, guys.
This whole time, I thought you were this badass, like, criminal with this long record.
I'm a badass.
Oh. Okay.
Watch out, guys.
Look out. She's feisty.
So, obviously, when you have a maximum security prison, you're going to have some tortures.
Oh, really?
And...
Should that be obvious, though? I feel like...
You know... Most every place had some sort of torture.
I feel like it's kind of sadly inevitable, but, like, it shouldn't be necessary to torture people just because it's a maximum security prison. I mean...
But they have to be punished for their shivs and shanks.
And playing dice with their razor cubes. So...
I mean, that would be pretty terrifying.
I mean, yeah.
I'm going to make you a razor cube.
Please do. Can you be my birthday present?
Yeah.
Yes. I still need to get you your birthday present from March. It's only July. It's cool.
It's fine. It's fine. So there was a small cell that was called the hole. So prisoners were often held there for 3 days when they were being punished. Typically, only one person would be at the cell at the time, but there was one instance where 2 inmates were being held in that cell, and by the end of the 3 days, only one made it out alive.
Oh my God, that's like a bad joke. Like 3 dudes walk into the hole, one walks out alive. Oh, God.
Yep. And they found the other person stuffed under the bed.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
Probably was killed like the first day, and I'm just going to shove your body under here because I don't want to deal with that anymore. Yep. So that's super cool.
That's awful.
Mm-hmm. There was also a man who hanged himself, and then another that set himself on fire.
Jesus Christ. While in the hole?
While in the hole.
Wow.
I'm assuming it's probably like underground or something.
Yes.
And it's just dank, dark. You have absolutely nothing around. So you're probably just going freaking crazy.
That's such a common theme too with the other like reformatories and penitentiaries we've talked about is there's always like this one extra special little place of hellish like containment where you go to be like punished for being a bad prisoner.
Yep.
And like you're just psychologically torturing people.
Exactly.
How like you're
not helping them in any way.
That can't be how you improve people's behavior.
Oh,
like,
God, no.
That's not... that's a whole nother topic.
We could go on and on about that, friends.
Yeah, we could. Yep.
They would also use old-fashioned torture devices to punish inmates who were bad. One device was the butterfly, which is a method of electro-torture.
Oh.
I was attempting, I typed into Google to try and figure out what this butterfly device was, and I typed in, butterfly torture, and nothing came up. And I'm pretty sure Google's probably like, oh my God, what is this girl doing? Because
she's trying to torture butterflies.
Look up torture devices and ways to torture people. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
The FBI is screening your Google searches.
I mean, probably are,
like,
and they're going to come after me, and I promise, I'm not torturing anybody, you guys.
Yeah, did you know, you will get flagged if you even, search, let's just say for some reason you were trying to hypothetically research the topic of child pornography. If you start searching, child pornography, you can get detained and questioned. I'm pretty sure, they will track stuff like that.
Oh, damn.
And, they will track people's, search history for things like that, illegal terms, and... I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere that, even just, searching for some of those things can get you in trouble. Yep. So,
I'm not doing anything bad, I promise. It's just for a podcast.
Anna's trying to torture everybody. It's cool.
So there was also another method called water tubes. I couldn't find specifically what the torture was with water tubes, but I'm assuming it's like water torture, where they drop cold droplets of water onto one's forehead over a prolonged period of time.
That's probably it.
So it's just like one little drop every like second or something, and that would drive me fucking nuts.
Sounds fine for like the first 5 minutes, and then after that it's probably really freaking annoying.
Because then it just like drips into your eyes, and it's just constant. And, I would know.
No, thank you.
I couldn't. I'd go, that'd drive me nuts.
Yep.
And then they also had a sweat box for Caucasian inmates.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it was like a sauna.
Yeah.
And you just had to sit there without like any water or anything.
But why only for Caucasian inmates?
That I don't know.
That's bizarre.
I thought that was really weird too. So I don't know. So along with the likelihood of being tortured, convicts were also endangered to the extreme by other convicts. They had horrendous food. There was the rat plague and also transmittable diseases.
Rat plague?
Rat plague.
Oh.
Which I'm assuming is just the plague?
Yeah.
Because isn't that where the plague came from, is rats?
That's unfortunate.
Just disease everywhere.
Oh, great.
Dead bodies!
Lots of them. Too many dead bodies.
Yep. They also had a
cemetery.
Thank you.
There it is.
Cemetery outside the walls that housed around 200 inmates or more who died there. So that's really kind of gross. And then going on to more of the gruesome killing history of this place.
Yes, my favorite part.
So there were 2 correctional officers who were killed in the line of duty on the prison guards. I don't know how they died. I'm assuming inmates probably just killed them.
Probs.
Stabbed them. Probs. Whatever it may be. So there was also a paroled inmate who had returned to the prison and shot a 72-year-old prison guard in an unsuccessful escape attempt.
Oh no. So why are you 72 and still being a prison guard?
Like,
retire.
Go away. Get out of here.
You're just too old.
Yep. Then the gunman was arrested 2 months later and was executed in the Ohio Penitentiary electric chair a year later.
Oh.
Which this story I was kind of confused because it said that he was a paroled inmate that returned to the prison in an unsuccessful escape attempt. So was he already there for parole and didn't want to meet with his officer anymore and then was trying to escape? Or did he come in, shoot the guard, and then leave?
I don't know.
So I don't really know about this story, if it's credible or not.
Yeah, I don't know. So, maybe he got arrested for violating parole, put in jail, then tried to escape unsuccessfully, then got put back out on parole, and then was arrested later?
Maybe, but if he would have shot the guard, he wouldn't have gone back out on parole.
Probably
because
not.
He murdered someone.
Nah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so riddle us this, people. Let us know what actually happened.
What's your theory?
So then there was another prison guard who was beaten to death with an iron bar during escape attempt by 12 prisoners.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I don't think we've talked about more than like 3 people trying to escape at a time.
I think the most was at Alcatraz.
Yeah.
I think there was like, wasn't there 4 of them, I think, that tried to escape? And
and then
like
a bunch of people got
injured.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right. And didn't you say one of them was like technically never found, so they could still be out there?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So then 2 of the inmates were found guilty of the murder and were both executed in the electric chair in 1935. And then in July of 1942, 2 former inmates kidnapped the prison's farm superintendent, his wife.
Oh, no. Just the farmer.
Yeah. They wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
And their 20-year-old daughter from their home. The former inmates then murdered the entire family in a cornfield.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't know if...
I thought they maybe be like holding him ransom or something as like leveraging to like escape or something. Like, we have the farmer and his family, let us out.
Killed them unless this farmer did something wrong. Like if they were workers in the farm and were treated poorly and they were like, well,
probably
fuck
just
you.
Full of rage.
Probably.
That sucks.
Yep. So after the entire family was murdered, one of the inmates went on a 2-week killing spree and killed 6 people.
Jesus.
Right? And then the two of them were chased down by the cops, and it ended in a shootout where one was killed and the other was arrested and put to death by the electric chair.
So everyone died.
Everyone dies.
The end.
In the electric chair.
Great.
Which I feel like is like the worst. It'd be the worst execution. Because you're just sitting there and then they put a wet thing on your head and then you get like, oh, God.
Yeah, give me lethal injection any day over the electric chair. I mean, not that I want to die.
Right, I was going to say, I hope we're
but
never
if
in
it
that
ever
situation.
came down to that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I just read a really interesting book for book club called The Innocent Man, which had to do with two wrongly convicted. It's a John Grisham book.
Yeah, I have that book.
Do you?
Yeah, I haven't read it
God.
yet.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything then. It's so good. You need to read it.
Okay.
It's a real
That's one of
story,
them that
which
I
is
have.
unreal. So that's one, it's his only nonfiction book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's a true story, and it has to do with the death penalty and stuff. It's really, really good.
Oh, damn. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I should probably read that now.
I won't spoil it then.
Okay, cool, thanks. So the reformatory remained in full operation until December 1990, when it was closed via federal court order because of a class action lawsuit brought on by the prisoners,
Good for
citing
them.
overcrowding and inhumane conditions. I had no idea that prisoners could, like, still sue.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You just have to, like, work with a lawyer.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty awesome. They're like, no, fuck you. We're not dealing with these conditions
That's amazing.
anymore.
Yeah. You
Get
can
it
you can do
together.
a surprising amount from prison. The John Grisham book goes into that a little bit.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Sweet. So then, the United States District Court for the Northern District of Ohio ordered the prison to close by the end of December 1986, but it didn't close down until 1990 because they were having trouble with, like, paperwork and actually getting everything closed down.
Bureaucratic nonsense.
Yep, pretty much. So, since its closure, most of the grounds and support buildings have been demolished, but in 1995, the Mansfield Reformatory Preservation Society...
Jesus, this is some long names you have over
I
there.
know! was formed and turned the prison into a museum, and they conduct tours to help fund the grounds, rehabilitation projects, and currently work to stabilize the buildings against further deterioration.
Sweet.
The facility has also been used in a number of films, but it was made famous by the movie The Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I thought that was really cool.
It is super cool, and the building is gorgeous. It is so pretty. You would not guess that it is like a horribly run, like really bad, inhumane prison. Like it is a very pretty building.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do have daily tours of the reformatory as well as annual Halloween event weekends throughout November.
Yeah, in Halloween, they take part of the prison and build it into a haunted house, and they call it the Blood Prison. And you can go...
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
And you go do a haunted house thing called Escape from Blood Prison, where your whole point is to try to escape. Like, not just, like, walk through, but, like, legitimately escape from Blood Prison. And I'm like, that sounds like the coolest effing thing.
Can we do it?
In the whole world. Ohio's not that far away.
I know it's
We can road trip that.
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool.
Looks pretty legit.
Yes, tell me.
First, what were your sources?
Oh, I don't know.
We don't want to get sued, okay?
I know. Wikipedia, ohiomemory.ohiohistory.org, onlyinyourstate.com, thevintagenews.com, and ohioexploration.com.
And my sources are travelchannel.com, weirdus.com, wkyc.com, liveabout.com, darkartandcraft.com, and columbusnavigator.com.
Holy bananas, Batman.
There's a lot of freaking haunted stories from this place.
I wouldn't have expected it, I guess. That's kind of cool.
There's a lot. Yeah.
That's cool.
A lot of death.
Tell me.
A lot of death. So, just to kind of set the mood, I did find an article that was from darkartandcraft.com where the title was, "A Look in the Dark, Ohio State Reformatory is Haunted as Fuck." Was literally the name of the article.
It's not the most haunted place, you guys.
No, it's not the most haunted place. It's just haunted as fuck. So,
awesome.
If that really gives you an indication of kind of what to expect, there's a lot. So
that's awesome. Just
some really high-level general stuff. So visitors and tour guides have been pushed and punched by unseen forces all around the property. Many people claim to feel an inexplicable chill while on the prison grounds. And witnesses have heard cell doors slam and seen dark apparitions in the corridors. Some of the dead prison guards who had once tortured inmates have been seen and heard inside the prison wearing their old, like, guard uniforms from, I don't know, the 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah.
Local legend says that even the road leading to the reformatory is haunted. That's how freaking haunted this place is. Even the road is haunted.
Holy shit.
So
that's cool.
It's haunted by the ghost of a woman named Phoebe Wise, who was the local town eccentric back in the 1800s. So she was just this like super weird lady who dressed in like crazy bright colors and was just like very odd, and everyone kind of knew who she was. Mm-hmm. And her family was like kind of wealthy, and they had a bunch of land that they owned near the reformatory. Okay, so her family lived near there, but she actually chose to live in a small old like shack on the property away from everybody else. She's like, fuck you guys, I'm living in my little hut. And so then at one point the reformatory purchased some of the land that her family owned so they could expand. So the family got a shit ton of money from this land deal, and even though like they got all this money coming in, she still chose to live in like her shack, which made people suspicious because they were like, well, right. Your family came in and do a bunch of money. Why are you living in this shack? She must have taken her share of the proceeds and hidden that in the shack. So they were convinced that she was like sitting on this big pile of money. And it didn't take long before a group of local thugs came by, broke into her shack, ripped it apart looking for the money. And then when they didn't find any, because she literally was just a weird person who liked living in a shack, they stole what little jewelry she had and murdered her on the way out.
Why?
They were just pissed.
Why?
Yep, they were pissed that they didn't find any money. They probably didn't want to leave her as a witness and just killed her.
What assholes?
Yep.
God.
So it's said that Phoebe's ghost is unable to rest in peace and walks up and down Reformatory Road and is often seen as a giant woman dressed in bright, gaudy clothes.
Oh.
So finally, someone who's not wearing black or white.
Right?
She's wearing bright colors.
So weird.
I know.
It's unusual.
It'd be very strange to see just a brightly colored ghost.
Right?
Yeah.
That'd be really cool, though.
She was apparently like over 6 feet tall, too. So
Jesus,
she was super tall.
Lady.
Just a big old ghost.
I'm, like, expecting this neon ghost just popping out of the woods.
Yeah, wearing, like, a goofy hat or something. That'd be so cool.
Big flower hat with feathers.
I love her already. Okay, so some of the most haunted sites in the building itself. So I'll just start and go section by section. Mm-hmm. So the first floor of the East Wing, also kind of known as the toilet room and the East Showers. And according to one of the property managers, rarely a night goes by where visitors and staff don't see at least a few shadow people patrolling the area. Just walking around.
Just hanging out.
Shadowy people.
Doing their patrols.
Doing their little thing.
Mm-hmm.
The third floor, the middle administration section, is where many people hear and see shadowy figures, hear disembodied voices and footsteps, and have a very strong feeling that they are not alone. So the administration wing is where Warden Glatke and his wife Helen lived, and where she suffered a fatal gunshot to the head after a gun accidentally fell to the floor and went off.
Oh.
Which is so unfortunate.
That's
like, how unlucky do you have to
right?
be? It went
like,
straight to the head. I know.
Oh.
So some have claimed that they've smelled rose perfume coming from Helen's pink bathroom in the area.
It's always floral perfume that people smell.
Well, it's a common scent. Yeah, no one ever has warm vanilla sugar.
Yeah.
My favorite.
The hell.
Or
brown sugar and fig.
I was going to say brown sugar and fig.
My favorite.
It's delicious. Love that shit. I know, it's always like
just
floral
roses.
perfume.
It's gross.
And I love how like you never smell men's cologne. It's always like women's perfume. Uh-huh. Others have reported feeling a rush of cold air pass through them as they walk through the area, and have even reported having their camera shutters get jammed inexplicably, which then, of course, as soon as they leave, it works fine.
Right.
So the chapel is an area that has actually been reported to take a lot of people who go in really skeptical, and they come out saying they've changed their minds, and they're very much like something very strange is happening here. The many ghosts that are reported in this area are apparently very grabby, and they like poking at people, tugging at clothes, tickling the backs of necks, and just all sorts of fun little touches and grabs.
Oh.
People have said they've also captured many orbs and photographs and have recorded strange, unidentifiable sounds. The West Attic, so I couldn't find any more detail on this, but apparently a, quote, very well-known paranormal celebrity had an experience in the attic and refused to go back in. He just grabbed his shit and left, and I was like, is it Zach Baggins?
Zach Baggins!
I bet it's Zach Baggins.
Likely.
So I don't know who it is. Couldn't find anything else about that.
Celebrity paranormal investigator.
Yeah, and the person who wrote the article was like, I won't say who, but a very well-known paranormal celebrity.
Why wouldn't you say who?
Just say it, because he didn't want to look like a pansy for running out of the attic, probably.
Well, I'm not going to go down that
yeah.
rabbit hole.
The infirmary is an area known to set off a lot of EMF detectors frequently, and many claim to have captured clusters of orbs in photographs.
Ooh.
Visitors also report feeling unexplained gusts of air, and all of these events are said to be caused by the many sick and dying inmates that were essentially just left there and not treated in any way. Like, they just kind of got dumped and left alone, and a lot, probably many of the people who ended up in the inmate cemetery just from being sick and not being treated. Yeah.
God.
The basement is very creepy. So this one
basements are always creepy.
Yeah.
I hate basements so
I know.
much.
I hate them as an adult in like normal life. They're just so creepy.
There's so many corners and shadows that are just gonna pop out and get you.
Yeah, there's so many places where things could be hiding.
Yeah.
And it's...
You just gotta run up the stairs as fast as possible.
And quick turn off the lights behind you and like close the door really fast. I know.
Exactly.
God, I always like run up the stairs if I'm coming up from the basement. Always. I just don't like being down in basements. And the basement actually at Ohio State Reformatory, one of the property managers who helps like facilitate tours and everything said that like a lot of people say that the basement is definitely the creepiest part of the entire place. Definitely the most haunted. Like everyone is super, super scared to be down there and always feels really uncomfortable. But there's 2 ghosts in particular that have been seen in the basement. So one is the spirit of a 14-year-old girl or boy. I found 2 different articles saying 2 different things. One said girl, one said boy. So I don't really know.
That's weird.
But so someone who is 14 years old was beaten to death in the basement.
Oh.
And has been seen lingering among the walls, just kind of like drifting between walls in the basement.
Poor baby.
Mm-hmm.
God.
The other is a prison guard that gives off a very strong negative energy and makes people feel very uncomfortable. And they just have this overwhelming feeling that he's this very evil presence and just like super creeped out by him. And many believe that he is the one who actually murdered the young boy or girl.
God.
So...
Like, could you imagine, because the average age for the people in this reformatory were 16, typically 16, yes, to 30.
They're so young.
Yeah, and to be exposed to that when it became a maximum security prison, and to have to try to essentially fight for their life, who knows what they endured when they were there.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Like, that's awful.
Yeah, those poor suckers who were, like, there at the time when it transitioned to being maximum security got shafted so hard.
Right?
They're like, I'm just in here for petty theft. I was just, like, serving.
I didn't want to do anything. I'm sorry.
So scared. That would be terrible. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nasty prison guard hanging out in the basement scaring people.
Assholes.
In the graveyard that you mentioned, many visitors have reported seeing objects move on their own and often experience inexplicable equipment failure. So jamming shutters on cameras, batteries draining rapidly. Mm-hmm. Then this one was really interesting. So the chair room is apparently a room that's just... I guess it's been this way for a while.
Chair?
It does.
Oh, okay.
You're so smart.
I know.
Oh my gosh. So there's just a chair in the middle of the room that faces out towards the doorway, and there's nothing else in it. It's windowless. It's literally just a room with a chair. Mm-hmm. And legend has it that a very dark entity lives in this room and wants the chair to be right in the middle. And apparently it gets mad when you move the chair and don't put it back. It's like, I want my fucking chair in the middle of the room. It's where I left it.
Got
Don't
ourselves an
touch
OCD
my shit.
Ghost. Jeez.
Yeah. So he gets
I just want to go
mad.
move this chair now.
I know you do. You want to piss him off.
Yeah.
Well, so someone was doing a paranormal investigation.
Yeah.
And they were sitting in the chair and trying to piss off the spirit, like provoking it, yelling at it, telling it to do something.
Good idea.
They ended up leaving with large scratch marks all down their back.
Well, that sounds about right.
Yep.
Probably.
Ghost is like, fuck you.
Don't be dumb.
Don't sit in my chair.
Don't
it's
provoke
mine.
ghosts. That's
Don't
just the
do
worst
it.
thing that you can do.
Yeah, Anna, don't move the chair.
I will move the chair.
Don't do it.
But I won't provoke it.
I think moving the chair is the same as provoking
But I won't
it in this
yell
case.
at it, okay?
Okay, you can move the chair.
Move it. I'll move it like a little bit.
Just a little
Just
scoot.
a little bit, and see if it gets pissed.
Okay.
And then I'll, like, kick it across the room, and I'll run out of there. Be like,
Sweet.
come at me, bitch!
And then it'll follow you home and possess you.
That's what will happen.
And then we'll have to stop podcasting because you'll just be a demon.
No, it would make our podcast so much better.
That's true. What am I saying?
Because then I would be a demon and I can talk in all sorts of dialects.
Talks in tongues? And...
Yes!
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Just don't smell like sulfur. I don't want that in my house.
I can't guarantee that.
Okay. Try not to.
It is a possibility that I would.
Demon hygiene is really important to me, so just please try not to smell like sulfur when you come over.
I will always smell like sulfur.
Damn it.
Just for
You're
you.
such an asshole.
I know. That's who I am.
Okay. So the hole, of course, located in the basement, and the ultimate punishment center, terrible, horrible conditions. So a lot of negative paranormal activity has been reported in the 20 hole cells, including reports of sudden nausea, fever-like chills, cold spots, and an uncomfortable feeling of being watched, and the strong feeling they need to get out immediately.
Oh.
Like that panicky feeling that we talk about a lot on this podcast, where you're just like, I can't be here anymore, I can't do this, I need to get out.
I need to leave!
I need to leave. So imagine how terrible it felt for the people who had no choice.
Right?
You're just stuck down there.
That'd be awful.
How terrible.
No sunlight, no nothing, just dark.
Yep.
Dank,
disgusting.
Gross.
Isolated, or unless you get thrown in there with 3 people and then you have to fight for your life and not get murdered by your fellow cellmates.
Yep.
So a number of paranormal investigators have been to the property. So our favorites, Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, have both visited. In the Ghost Adventure episode, I'll just give a couple of highlights of some of the main things that they saw. So when the crew first gets locked in, Zach calls out to the spirits, and without warning, his audio battery mysteriously drains, even though he just put a new battery in.
Of course,
5 minutes prior.
Just every time.
It's just amazing. I just put the battery in, and it drained out of nowhere.
So weird.
A bunch of apparitions were seen. So they got an orb captured on Nick's camera inside of a cell. A floating white mist appears to walk behind Zach from one cell to another. And then Nick claimed that he felt something in a prisoner's cell. So, like, Zach didn't get any spikes on the EMF detector, but Nick was like, I felt something in here, like, something was in here with me. So there was also a free-floating mist that moved from one cell to another behind Zach near cell 13, where the inmate burned himself to death, the one you mentioned.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is it the 14-year-old?
No, that's the self-immolation death.
Oh, good.
Yep.
All right.
They picked up some strange noises, so footsteps, cell doors slamming, breathing, growling.
Oh,
apparently, that would
some
be
demons in there.
Super unnerving to hear growling.
Yeah, would. It'd be terrifying.
They also caught a couple of EVPs saying things like, I'll chew you.
Oh? We got cannibals down there?
I'll chew you. I'll nibble your toes off.
We're gonna nibble you.
Delicious. They also heard, run, Sarah, and sorry, Sarah, sorry.
Oh.
So did someone named Sarah get murdered?
Maybe that was the little baby.
Maybe it was the 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Poor Sarah.
Yeah. And then more growling, of course.
Good.
So there was some physical contact that happened too. So Nick was in cell 13 where the person burned himself, and he felt his whole face and body go numb. And, oh no, Sarah's the person on their team. Sorry, I forgot they have someone on their team named Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Sarah said that she felt something breathe on the back of her neck, and at the same time, they captured a breath on the digital recorder, so they could hear it on the recording at the same time that she felt it on her neck, which feels more convincing to me than just like, oh, I felt something. Right. Like, if you can actually catch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You actually got it.
Yep.
That's cool.
She also says that something pulled on her hair, so...
so I'm like, come on
just
in.
Yeah,
Let's
I mean,
go.
the ghosts are grabby.
Yeah.
The property manager said the ghosts
suppose
like to get grabby.
Assholes.
So then there was another TV show that I've never heard of before called Portals to Hell. Does that sound familiar to you? I've never heard of them.
One.
Oh, jinx. Yeah, I haven't either. And so they also visited, and apparently they were the first paranormal investigation crew to actually feature the solitary confinement area. No one else before them had done it. So that was like a big deal. There was an article in the newspaper and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know exactly what they found. They just like played an interview with the people of like, oh, what's it like? You know, do you ever worry about things following you home? It wasn't really anything specific to the solitary confinement area, but you can do your own ghost hunts there. So they offer ghost hunts to the public, which you can do as part of a guided tour or do your own private one. So let's go
do our own private tour.
Okay, we'll go and like stay there for like a week and we'll do our own private ghost tour, and then in the week that it takes them to like get the haunted house set up, then we'll go do the Escape from Blood Prison.
Perfect.
And
then we'll
PR
know
pants.
how to escape already then.
Yes, we'll have insider secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Perfect.
Great.
That sounds great.
I think so.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I want to go to Blood Prison.
Yeah. There's so many haunting stories.
I know.
I didn't even know.
It was like, oh, let me talk about all the different areas that are haunted. So this place and this place and this place and this room. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many distinct locations within the prison.
Yeah, I didn't even like really know of this place.
I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like some of the other reformatories and penitentiaries we've been to.
Yeah, like I feel like everyone's heard of like Eastern State.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, this one I hadn't heard of, so it was interesting. It's been listed as the most haunted place in Ohio. Just
of course.
saying. Just saying.
But it's in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Not
probably the most haunted prison in the world, just like Alcatraz and
every
Eastern State and every other single freaking prison in the world.
Stupid.
Dumb.
So, friends.
That's some ghosts.
You know what to do.
What is it?
Send us in your stories.
Yes.
Because we want to hear about them.
We want them.
Send us an email, nightmarenation19@gmail.com.
Check out our Facebook page, which now has like 8 billion more likes on it.
Heck yeah! Thank you, marketing.
Thank you.
So exciting.
So come check it out. Like us on Facebook. We like to post scary movie trailers and let you know the topics of each episode before they come out. Mm-hmm. Also check us out on the Instagram at Nightmare_Nation.
Nope, that's Facebook.
God damn it. Nightmare.nation19.
You got it.
Check us out. And we've gotten some interesting photos from people who have sent in pictures of places that we talked about on the podcast. So if you want to stay tuned for those, check out our Instagram.
Yeah. Send us in pictures if you have them from places that you visited. Let us know what topics you want us to cover for future episodes, because we love those.
We do.
Because half the time we just Google where we're going to go. And
Google Travel Channel lists.
Gonna be a great one.
Yeah, so. I mean, they're all great ones.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah, and so make sure if you have a story of something scary or unexplained that's happened to you or a family member or a friend or anyone you know, really, please let us know. We would love to feature the story on the podcast.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you can find us on YouTube now.
Heck yeah.
Nightmare Nation 19.
Yes.
Check it out.
We have a channel. There's a playlist of our episodes. It's even got a fun little like waveform visual that shows you our loud ass voices screaming into the microphone. It's pretty great.
It's perfect.
If you're a YouTube person,
we're there now.
You can do it there.
Uh-huh.
Sweet.
It's awesome.
Cool.
All right, friends.
Until next time.
Don't use Ouija boards.
Please don't do a seance.
And just be careful,
just
okay?
Be safe in all things.
Every day.
Wear a mask and don't summon demons into your life.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, the standard.
Yep. Just all the usual stuff.
Yes.
Yep.
Of course.
Great.
All right, friends.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.